Good morning, good morning, good morning. Predicted Trades fans. Hope everybody's doing well. A little review of yesterday and really the last 2 days. You might notice we have popped up to hit our squeeze tops and then we go down to the bottom. Yesterday, got the same, popped up into squeeze top, quick rejection. When we came back up to try to get to that squeeze top, we rejected before we got there. That's where I called out some shorts. The 360s on SPY, the 3650s on SPX. They were wonderful trades that went about 4x to 10x. As we drop down to our low of year, set a new one just below that, and now overnight have slipped a little further. Let's see. To the downside. Do have a couple of levels. This 36.21. Very key level. You can see we slipped below it, but overall last night and this morning, we tried to hold it. We had one slip below and then popped right up off of it. Already back above the previous low of year at that 36.39. So let's see if that 36.21 can continue to provide support. 621.25. Kind of just want to add that over here. I'll get it a little close. There we go. So, for today, well, before we dig into what we can get for today, let's take a quick look at the economic calendar. It is Wednesday, the 28th. We have a little bit coming out at 8 a.m. Trade in goods. And then we have pending home sales at 10 a.m. We have Powell speaking today at 10:15. And then a bunch of other Fed speakers the rest of the day. So we could see a little bit of chop into Powell. We could also see a nice recovery pop into Powell and then potentially more selling. But let's take a look. Let's see if 36.21.25 can continue to hold us if we start slipping back below 36.39. That previous low of year. And not going to mark this 13 right now as low of year, but, you know, that pre-market low is. So keep an eye on that. If we slip further, we've got a psych level 3600. I have a little zone that I created there as well. I believe, I'm not going to jump to the time frame. I'm pretty sure the way I remember it, this zone was very interesting. It had some big key wicks on the daily, I believe. And it spans from 35.87 up to about 35.95. Stop. There we go. 35.96 to 35.87. Below that, 35.41 is the next key target that I have. Gave up that trend line, gonna get rid of that. And going to update this. It was a trend line that I used at the beginning of the day that we rejected and stayed below. Come on, Toss, don't start freezing on me. Oh, Toss may not be cooperative for this prep. We'll have to see. Let's see if we can hold this 36.21, 36.39. Now it's moving. There we go. Just wanting to update this. And we're already breaking through and looking kind of decent this morning. So let's see if we can continue to hold that 36.21 if we have a dip. We're moving nicely right back up to that 36.68. When we shorted yesterday, I said that was the first target to arrive to, and if it doesn't hold, then we'll go to low of year. That's what we got. So now we're back almost to that 36.68. It is at the top of a 30-minute squeeze. We have an hourly squeeze just beyond that. And we have a 4-hour that's starting to form way up here. Actually, even a little further up. Nice. So now our 4-hour squeeze is down at the bottom with all of our other squeeze bottoms. Basically meaning that we have a ton of support here at this 36.21. Let's see if we reject 36.68 and start to slide back to test these two key levels on the bottom of all these squeezes before heading higher. If we can get through 36.68, turn it into support, looking to get back to 3,700 where this second Keltner sits. And then past 3,700, that daily 8 has pretty much caught up with our 37.41 at the top of this 4-hour squeeze. Upside, downside targets for ES. Oh, I've tested this out, switching around the tickers, and it was going a little slow. I'm trying to close like everything else that could be slowing me down. I'll go ahead and close this too. There we go. So, NQ. Did not set a new low of year yesterday in that drop. We did get down to set a new low from yesterday down at that 141.5. But ultimately, right back above this 197.5. So, let's see if we do hold that, if we have a little dip off this 30-minute squeeze top. Looking forward to that to hold today and at least that overnight low around 150. We do have a number of squeezes all stacked up together. And a 4-hour that's starting to form. The top of that 4-hour where the daily 8 sits. So we could see a bounce from these 4-hour squeeze bottoms up to the top, back near yesterday's high, tag the daily 8, take a break. But we could also reject at this 30-minute squeeze top, at this 1-hour squeeze top, around that psych level 11,400. If we keep slipping to the downside, next stop, key level I have is 11,068, and that psych level of 11,000, where that third Keltner sits. Ready. Ready arrived, had a key level that I have, that 1656 yesterday. Set new lows, but already knocking on the door of like right where it opened, right? It's about 4 points off from where it opened yesterday. Pretty much recovering. And off of those 4-hour squeeze bottoms as well. There we go. On ready, I made this zone. I know it's kind of wide, right? But it's key levels at top and bottom and a key level in the middle. As long as we continue to hold this key level and bounce, I am going to be looking to see if they are loading long back into small caps for a potential new rally. If we start to break below this key level and turn it into resistance, turn it into a wall, and start to sell off from it, then we can drop to that 1600, 1613.5. But as long as we stay above this, looking to get back to 1700 and start to recover back to moving averages. YM. Come on, come on, come on. Load it fast. YM, these are your key levels. You can see yesterday we sold through that 315 down to our third Keltner. Stop it. Overnight, basically held that third Keltner, making one little dip below to get pretty close, about 40 points off from the next key level. So on YM, let's see if we can get back above 315, turn it into support, push through this 30-minute 1-hour squeeze top in an effort to get up to kind of where we sold off yesterday, that 29,650-ish and 29,600 where that next Keltner sits. Beyond that, we have the daily 8 and psych level 30,000 up at the top of this 4-hour squeeze. But we could reject, slip back down to retest the overnight low, this 28,850. And then the next stop might be that 28,500. Apple, apple, apple. Oh, when I woke up this morning, I took a quick look on my phone at where things were, and Apple had gapped down quite a bit. Man, look at this wick on Apple. So, we are at the bottom of a lot of squeezes on Apple, including a daily and a 4-hour. So we do have some good support here. Would not be surprised to see us open near this 147.5 at the bottom of the squeeze. Maybe a quick dip and then take off to get back above this zone that we defended on Friday and took off from on Monday. You see we got to our zone, made it up to the next, rejected that zone, and held that 150 pretty well yesterday. But now we are back below the zone we bounced at. So looking for Apple to quickly get back above this zone, get back to 150, and have a nice push up to that same zone above where the daily 8, daily 15 sit, and the daily 21 has almost caught up to at the top of that 4-hour squeeze. If we keep slipping, gonna test that 144.42 and that third Keltner down at 142.5, we'll call it. AMD. Oh man, I don't know if you guys remember back during that COVID recovery, but AMD was just like trapped below 56 for months and months and months and months. I really hope we're not going back to something like that on AMD. Let's hope we don't get near 56 anytime soon. You know, ships kind of went with the market yesterday. Looked strong for about the first half hour, then kind of gave out. Trying to hold that 66 level. And let's see if it can move back through 68, 69 where it's rejected. And enough to get back to 71 where that daily 8 and second Keltner sits. And, you know, to the downside, just dollar increments. Like, as you can see, we tried to get off of 68 and we gave it out and went to 67, 66 and held. So, Amazon. Oh, if this is going to go this slow, I might just skip through and hit the big names. So Amazon yesterday in that drop gave out trend line from lows from Friday and Monday. I mark these kinds of things so that they let me know, is selling done or are we going to keep going? And when we start to give out key trend lines that we've been holding on big names, it just adds more fuel to the fire, right? We do have those stack squeezes as well. The 2 hour, 4 hour down here, already coming off of it at pre-market. Almost back to the middle. Let's see if Amazon can reclaim 115 where it rejected once it got below. Reclaim 115 and work its way right back up to squeeze tops where we sold off from 118 and this daily 8. If we reject and come back, probably going to retest 113, the bottom of the squeeze, and pre-market low around 112. And below that we have third Keltner down at about 110.5, 110. I'm gonna skip, just maybe hit big tech this morning. Google. Popping right back above yesterday's low already pre-market. Wouldn't be surprised on a number of names if we are back above yesterday's low that we have a pullback to test it. If yesterday's low can't hold, we're going to test pre-market low. But if we can get holds there, looking for Google to work its way from these squeeze bottoms back up to the top at 100, where the daily 8 has now caught up to. If we keep slipping, yeah, nope, 94, 92 will be next. Oh, GS got down below third Keltner. And down to this 290. Let's see if 290 can hold. Start to send it back up to 300. We got that for the second Keltner at 302.5. And the daily 8 up near 308. If we keep slipping, 285 to 80. I'm just going to skip through to Microsoft. No one cares about Meta anymore. Haha, Microsoft making it to a big key level, 232.86. Above this level, definitely long Microsoft. It actually, did a decent job kind of holding and basing around that Friday low. It did set new lows yesterday, but did a good job holding right there and trying to push back up, already pushing up. We've seen some relative strength in Microsoft lately, at least this week. So I love it off of these squeeze bottoms and having tagged that key level. pre-market. Let's see if it wants to come back and retest yesterday's low around that 234.5. Or if it wants to retest this key level during the cash session. We do have a lot of stack squeezes, so expecting us to bounce there. If we give that out, 230 is the next psych level that we're going to go test. But if we can hold and start to push back up from here, looking to get back to 240, the daily 8 at the top of this squeeze. That first Keltner at 245-ish. And the daily 21 catching up to 250. Netflix. Ooh, yes, getting through that 36.68. Netflix was held down by trend line from recent highs at the top of that daily squeeze. And now we've gone sideways long enough for a 2-hour squeeze to set up. Base of which is at that first Keltner to the downside. And as you can see, pre-market, we're already breaking through our resistance and getting back to our moving averages at the top of this 2-hour squeeze. So let's see if market can continue to look strong and try to make a recovery drive today. We could see Netflix get above these moving averages, start to push through this 2-hour squeeze, opening it up, which would kind of look like the opposite of what we see here, where it started and settled in. If we push against it and come up to, 233, 235 today, we'll start to open it up to fire to the upside. Let's see if it rejects squeeze top and comes back for a test at 225. If it gives out 225, coming back to test the bottom of the squeeze and yesterday's low near 220. But some decent relative strength in Netflix. Even in this whole drop, we've seen some big pops back to those moving averages. But she's moving with the market right now. If market can start to have a nice recovery pop across the board today, Netflix has some relative strength lately and could look to take back off from these moving averages to get back to this daily squeeze top. If the market keeps slipping, Netflix is going to come down to this first Keltner and then down to this squeeze around 215, which spans down to about 205. NVIDIA. Definitely trying to make a base at this 122. It was looking decent yesterday, but again, thick squeeze tops, right? Let's see if it has a dip, if it can continue to hold that 122 level, like it has been. Here, and here, right? If it starts to give out 122, it'll likely come into retest. Pre-market low, 120, and that third Keltner down at 118.75 at the bottom of this 4-hour squeeze. But if we can continue to look strong, get back to 125, turn it into support, and keep moving, looking to get up to that daily 8 moving average at the top of this 2-hour squeeze. The 4-hour squeeze a little bit past that and just starting to form at about 129 to 130. And we got our moving averages above that. We do have MU earnings tomorrow, I believe. Tomorrow or Friday. We can check our in our server. We have an earnings channel where we do pull in all the important earnings. I'll pull that over here. We have MU Thursday after the bell. So we could see some love into chips over the next 2 days of trading, leading into Micron earnings. Little sympathy play in chips could brew coming if we do look strong today, coming off of that new low of year. QQQ. Let's speed this up. Made it down near that third Keltner, pre-market, and that 270, big psych level. Only printed 4 cents below that, and already back to 275. So, think about it. All the folks that bought or swung their position, it's, you know, or bought and locked up some or bought more puts and swung. Now basically kind of going to be opening flat, maybe even a little positive. So they might get out of those shorts. It could propel us a little higher where they'll try to short again. But QQQ, trap between 270, 280, the top and bottom of all of these squeezes. We've got a 4 hour, we've got a 2 hour. So, and we're about to open right near the middle at 275. Let's see if we have a dip first for them to get out of shorts. Looking for that 272, 270 to hold. If we do have a dip, getting to the upside, we got that hourly squeeze top around that 276. And then if we can get through that, looking to get back up to where we sold off from yesterday, where the top of a 2 hour and 4 hour squeeze sits, back at that 280. Pretty simple. If the whole market just keeps slipping and we start to give out 270, first stop, that 268, just outside of the squeeze. And that pre-market low on our way to get there. Let's just skip to SPY. I guess, actually, I'll take a quick look at SPX, then we'll hit SPY and Tesla. VIX made it up almost to 35 pre-market. Coming back down below 33. Or not pre-market, that was, no, yeah, it was pre-market. Then it gapped down. SPX had that gap up. Ran into the previous day's high. Rejected. Went back, filled the gap. Went a hair further, closed above this 36.45. ES, tiny gap up. So let's see, on a dip, looking for SPX to hold this 36.45 like it's been doing. Slipped a little bit below it yesterday. And now back above. If we can hold that 36.45, looking to get right back up to 3,700, to where we keep selling off from, 37.15-ish. And ultimately push through. Man, strangely, I'm sorry, there's a smell of something burning all of a sudden. Just trying to make sure my computer's not about to explode or something, but nope, everything checks out. Weird. So, let's see if we can hold that to 36.45, get up to 3,700, and we have a gap fill zone where that daily 8 is now catching up to. If we keep slipping, psych level 3,600 and 35.87. SPY. SPY, rejected that 370. Top of that squeeze came down to that 365, rejected that, came down to that 362, almost made its butt down to 360 yesterday. Did print a hair lower, and now right back to those key levels. So, if you notice the squeeze structures and these key levels, would not be surprised to see us open, run up and hit this 1 hour squeeze top, this 365, take a little dip back to that 362. Would love to see a bounce there to get through that 365 in an effort to get back up to 370. You know, basically run into this, hold this, then take off higher. But if we do slip below that 362, likely coming down to test 360, big psych level. And if we give that out, pre-market low. Tesla. Relative strength, made it back up to moving averages. Made a great bounce later in the day. Gapped down with the market, but already pretty much back up to opening just a hair down. Let's see if it wants to continue to hold to 80 and this first Keltner here around 278 where it tried to settle yesterday. Yesterday's low just a hair below that, and probably where that Keltner will be stepping down to today. If we do have a dip, looking for that to hold. If that gives out down to pre-market lows and Monday's lows back at 270. But there's been some good relative strength. Those Tesla calls, hit our beast zones on Monday. Yesterday, they were hitting that beast zone at the lows as well, looking at like the 295s. So let's see if we have a little dip, looking for that to hold. We're on a nice trajectory back above 280. Looking first to get up to yesterday's high. These moving averages start to push through these squeeze tops to the mean at 290, and then past that 295 and 300. Let's just go to VIX. UVXY hit new highs, coming back almost below where it settled late in the day. It settled above our purple hash line on UVXY, now starting to get below that. So I'd love to see UVXY continue this downtrend, get below 12, and start making its way back to 11. Oh, VIX. Almost made it to our 35.28. Gapping down. Let's see if we have a little dip on the market first. VIX will likely come back to retest this 33.5. If we keep dipping further in the market, then it's to this 35.28 at the top of a 2-hour squeeze. But if we're going to see a nice recovery pop in the market today, want to see VIX stay below 33, stay below this 33.5, start to make its way back down to 32, to 31.5, where this trend line from lows sits, and if we can take that out, back to 30, where the daily 8 now sits, which would give us upside in the market. And on UVXY, looking for it to get back to that 12. Yesterday's open, make its way back to 11 for upside in the market. It could hold around this 12.5 and start to bounce back up to 13, which would give us a dip in the market. Let's keep an eye also on DXY. which for you gold and diamond members will now show up with a beast tool. I added that this morning. Let's just throw it in for fun. Come on, Toss. There we go. Yep, yesterday DXY held that purple hash line going into open, took off back to its overnight open level and through it up to our burger top and squeeze tops, pushed a little higher overnight or this morning. Now coming off of the purple hash line back to where it opened. Keep an eye on DXY as it gets to that 114 in our burger bottom today. Could catch a bounce at that 114 now that it's above it. Got above it yesterday, stayed above it. So let's see if 114 becomes support. See if DXY gets down to that 114 at that burger bottom. There's also a little 30-minute squeeze there as well. Could see a bounce there and a pullback on the market. But if we can get below 114, would love for it to come all the way back to maybe test 113. But if we're going to see downside of the market, it'll probably hold that 114, get back through burger top, make its way to purple hashed, and try to push further to 115 in our outer shaded region. So hopefully this is helpful for everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Remember today, keep it simple. Try to stay safe. And if there's no beast, we do not feast. So good luck, everybody. See you guys in the chat.